Hang in there.
That's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show, and we are excited to bring a new guest on the show, one of the more recent winners on the PGA Tour, Andrew Novak, who won the Zurich Classic alongside Ben Griffin. Really fun conversation to share Smylie had with Andrew. And we're going to do that via our friends at Ahead. And we've talked to you a lot about trust-based relationships. And this is one. Smylie, we're going to delve into some I want to say issues of trust, but you've partnered with Andrew Novak before. So delving into your relationship and the way that trust fluctuated up and down, we're gonna use Ahead to do that. So Ahead builds and manages digital platforms that power the most successful organizations in the world. Their consultative approach, unmatched engineering, and innovative solutions combine to accelerate the impact of technology in every client that they serve. Ahead's longstanding relationships are built on outcomes and experience with both their clients and technology partners. Learn more at ahead.com. So Smylie, I got a little Ahead quarter zip rocking here. I'm headed out. So tell me about this relationship. You can maybe just tease a little bit of that story as well, but just the conversation with Andrew Novak. What do the viewers and listeners have to look forward to here?
Well, we've covered him over the last couple of weeks, of course, because of his great play, starting over at the Valero. It's been a run of top three finishes, third, second, then first, finally going bronze, silver, then the gold medal, winning, obviously, with his buddy Ben Griffin. They've got a good relationship, him and Ben. It's pretty wild. Andrew and I got paired together in Sea Island. There's some pretty good stories involved, and actually Ben Griffin is a part of the mix when it comes to that Sea Island event. Andrew's a great dude. He's it's been fun to see him have so much success, and he's quickly been one of my favorite players to watch. Not only for how good he is and how talented he is, but he plays quick. But he also brings in the fans when he's having his conversations. He's just as good as Jordan Spieth when it comes to just lay out, let him talk. He talks through it, and you'll find out he's a pretty dang good analyst, not just golf, but talking shot when that's talking football.
That's right, fellow podcaster.
That's right.
So and a good one too, and a committed one. So talking a little ball with Smylie at the end of this podcast. Lots to look forward to. We're not going to delay you any further. Here is Smylie's conversation with Andrew Novak.
Welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show. We are joined by a recent winner at the Zurich Classic, Andrew Novak. Andrew, you're probably on a little bit of a media tour right now where you've done a ton of interviews. Have we had time to settle in and take in your first win on the PGA Tour? And what I just found out was your 100th start on the PGA Tour, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's been good. I've been, home for this week, taking the week off, which has been nice. Getting just celebrate it with Maddie and some people at home. So it's still been a pretty busy week, doing podcasts, interviews, stuff like that, but it's been fun.
Well, let's just go to the Zurich Classic. And of course, you won with partner Ben Griffin, a good friend of yours. How did this team come about? Is this something that was decided earlier in the year? Who made the ask? How did this little partnership form?
Yeah, we talked about doing it for a while. We played a lot at home in Sea Island, and we typically play well when we play at home in Sea Island. We're known for taking people's money when we do get paired together. And so it's something we kind of talked about for a bit, just hadn't worked out. Ben had played with a past teammate in a previous year and stuff like that. So this year, I want to say, I think Ben actually asked me kind of early on, maybe January or something. And I'd kind of been waiting for that text. I knew we'd be a good team. So it's
kind of like middle school dating, right? Trying to figure out who's going to play with who. Ryan Palmer was the best. He played with John Rahm, Jordan Spieth. He was the best at getting partners.
He played with Scotty one year too.
A lot of people need to go to Ryan Palmer and figure out how he did it.
Yeah. I want to say, like, I think we always kind of thought or I always thought we would play together. I think it was always like kind of wrong time, wrong place. And this year it all kind of came together, especially going into the week. Like, Ben had played some decent golf earlier in the year. And I knew he had like a big chip on his shoulder after being essentially first alternate for the Masters and then actually first alternate for RBC Heritage. I knew he was going to be coming in ready, and I was coming off playing some good golf. So I think we were both like, we didn't like talk to each other like in depth about it, but I think we were both like pretty quietly confident coming into the week.
All right. So we all, of course, are aware of how well you've played over the last month. And, you know, when I was watching the winning interview from Justin at Hilton Head, they had asked him a question as have you ever played with Andrew Novak before? He's like, well, yeah, I got, I actually played with him and Ben Griffin in a practice round last year at the Travelers, and they were in like a big match between the two of them, and you shot 59. Like, what the heck happened out there that day? Was it a Tuesday where you just got it going out at the Travelers? Was it like a legit 59?
It was a Tuesday. Ben and I start on the first tee. We're like, let's do a birdie game. Like, let's just do it. And I think we hit the turn, and I think we were both chilling at like 6 under at the turn, like just going nuclear. And we walk over to 10T, and Justin's standing there. Ben and I are kind of like looking at each other like, Justin, you want to join this, bud? And I think Justin said the best decision he made all week was not joining that money match. But yeah, we just kept going. I think I had it to 11 through 16, and it's a par 71. But I do think I made a bogey there on one of the last holes. I did not shoot 59. He was off it, but it was very close. It was like 61. Ben and I talked about this week, actually, because we saw the interview. We think I shot 61, and we think Ben shot 62. Whatever I shot, I did not make money off of him. We split the match that day. So yeah, it was blackout.
Well, all right. Well, tell me about your 2024 season, because 25 is going to be easy to talk about, but 24 for somebody, I of course, like, I have you favorited on my PGA Tour app because, of course, your wife Maddie, who is great for me for 3 years, helping me out with travel, this and that. Of course, now following you around on the PGA Tour, but you know, I've always been a fan of yours ever since you and I have played some golf together early on in your professional career, but. Last year was interesting, right? Because you were right on the cusp of being in and out of that 125. It felt like for me most of the year, but you were playing better than that. It felt like, and just never quite was able to get the breathing room that you needed. How stressful was 2024 for you? Of course, knowing that you got to keep your card.
Yeah, I mean, I finished 86 last year, but that was Bermuda, second last event of the year, was a solo second. So
that's right.
I don't remember exactly what I was before Bermuda. I think I was like,
you were safe though, right? Like,
I think I was safe, probably. Like, maybe there was some mathematic way where, like, if I miscut last two,
enough to you'd be looking at it, you'd be thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like the year before that, I had finished like 124 or something like that. So I mean, I had been essentially on the bubble for
2 straight years.
2 straight years. Last year was tough just because, like, looking at my stats, looking at my statistical profile, I was very, very good. My entire season, I was about as consistent as it gets. I hardly missed any cuts last year, but I just didn't have any top finishes. Like, I would finish, like, on my good weeks, like, 12th or something. Like, I would never finish worse than like 40th or 50th, but like, you need those top finishes because the points fall off so quick. Like, looking at all my stats, my strokes gained, like, I was awesome last year. I really, like, I was very happy with how all that ended up turning out. I mean, I think I finished like 4th or 5th in stroke average on the PGA Tour last year.
Wow.
I was top 20 or 25 in total strokes gained.
and your college performance does not relate to the National Football League. It never
They
does.
played side by side
DRS.
with each other, and he wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. That's an issue. That's a major issue.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn
they've ever
Ewers.
got to Texas.
It wasn't that it wasn't as good as Quinn Ewers. It was Quinn Ewers' program, which Steve Sarkisian
Why
made
would it be
very
Quinn
clear
Ewers' program?
the entirety of the time that
No.
Arch Manning was in Austin. So for you to argue that because Ewers is a 7th-round pick,
Quinn
Arch
Ewers'
Manning is
team.
not that good and not deserving of being first overall is
Yes.
asinine. It is wrong.
I
It
just
is
told
incorrect.
you he's going to be number 1 overall. My whole thing was I'm
you're
buying
doing
him
your
because
thing now
I
where you
expect him to
double
have a
down on a
decent
take
season. No, I'm
that
not
is
doing
incorrect
that. The
when I
best
show it's
quarterback
incorrect.
prospect to ever hit college football can't play
He's
over
not
a
so.
7th-round
There were
pick
two
who didn't even
perfectly
play
rated
good.
quarterback
Stop
recruits
it.
in the history
Stop
of
it.
the sport.
Quinn
Vince
Ewers couldn't
Young
even play at
and
Ohio
Quinn
State.
Ewers.
He couldn't even play at
Vince
Ohio
Young and
State.
Quinn Ewers. Go look it up.
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on Sports Grid.
I had 6 events in the fall. I made it a point. I wanted to be in contention in 2 of them. And that's something that going into this year, I'm trying to make sure I'm putting myself in contention just because I felt like it's something I needed to do to get more comfortable being around the lead. I was able to do that last fall, which I think was big for this year, to get me comfortable for being with being up near the lead. I think my Saturday scoring has greatly improved in the last. I was always a terrible Saturday player for whatever reason.
Yeah, because a lot of guys, when they get to Saturday, it's finally we're playing with house money. We're not playing threesomes. We're playing twosomes. You're a quick player. You like getting going. I'm a little surprised that Saturday's been tough on you.
Yeah, so this year has by far been my best Saturday performance. I've always been a poor Saturday player, but a pretty good Sunday player. And so I'll come into the weekend, kind of drop a bit, and then Sunday make a little move up. And that's what I was doing a lot to finish top 20s. But you have to have good Saturdays if you want to finish top 5, because you got to be up there. And actually, that's a good point you bring up about the twosomes, because there's been a lot of talk how many final groups I've been in recently. The best I've played by far was the Heritage. That's the only final group that I've been in that was actually twosomes. All of the other ones were threesomes. And if you remember Torrey Pines, the pace was brutal. It was so bad. And that I was struggling with that. And then same thing at Valero. I was, playing in threes.
That was a death march.
Yeah. And Brian's not the fastest player, and he had the lead. And so he was really, making sure what he was doing was what he wanted to do. And the wind was right where he wanted it to be and stuff. And I was not really handling it great, I don't think. So it was really nice at Heritage to be playing in twos, which was a lot more my speed, where we were just getting up and going. And it's the same thing in alternate shot. You're playing in foursomes, but it's only 2 balls. We played, 4 hours basically.
Right.
And I would say that is definitely an advantage for me to be able to play at that pace.
Yeah, I want to go back to the original thing you just talking about how you wanted to play your way into contention. Well, of course, easier said than done, right? Everybody says, I would love to be in contention, would love to be in final groups. And of course, you had this quiet confidence because you look at your analytics, your stats, and you're I'm playing good golf. But other than, not being in a twosome, whatever it is, was there something that you flipped on a Saturday that you think maybe could have been the difference? Was it more of an aggressive mindset? Did you is there anything that you feel like you did differently, I guess, on the weekend?
Not nothing major, but it just a conscious effort in my brain to just I want to be putting myself up in these positions. You talked about sometimes, you can get to the weekend, get a little bit complacent, hey, we made our cut. And based on what I was seeing from last year, my Saturday scoring was not good. And I was having good tournaments, but that was essentially costing me chances to win.
Yeah.
So it's been like kind of a conscious effort. Like once I make the cut, it's like, that's not just the end of it. Like we're going to keep pushing. I have 36 holes to chase down the leaders basically from whatever position I'm in. I don't like, I mean, the fact that I'm thinking about it and it's working, I don't know if there's like a correlation there, but like, it's definitely something that I've wanted to, like, it was definitely something that I wanted to allow myself to do, because like, I think every level I've played at, it's taken me a bit of time to get comfortable, to gain confidence playing against whoever I'm playing against. And I figured the next step for me was to be putting myself in contention, because I knew I mean, you know, it could happen. Like the first time you put yourself in contention, you win, but that's not really how I've been at each level. Like in college, I didn't really get going. I didn't win until my junior year. Like it took me some time to like figure it out. So I wanted to like really put myself in some positions, because I know when I do, I'll get better as it goes, but I need to start giving myself those chances to learn about myself in those positions. And then obviously I've done that, and now it finally pays off with a win last week.
When he got in the playoff with JT, of course, the guy's got a lot of experience in winning PGA Tour events, but you also know that he had a lot to play for too. So I'm sure heading into that playoff, you knew that he probably was nervous. You're nervous, but you still get up there. You have an opportunity to make a birdie, and then you have to sit there and kind of watch JT hit his putt. You know, a lot of times in match play, or just when you're playing a round of golf and you're playing against a guy and you just have that feeling that there's no way he's going to miss this. Did you have that feeling at all?
Yeah, I really, you know, I had my birdie putt, and when I was over my birdie putt and looking at my birdie putt, I wasn't really like thinking like, oh, I have to make this. Yeah. I was trying to hit a good putt, but I was really like, I was locked in on my read, because I just misread the other putt. And so I'm trying to like figure out, you know, 20 minutes ago, I just whiffed on a read pretty bad to this hole, and now I'm putting on like a somewhat similar line. Like I need to lock in on what I'm doing here. Right. And I kind of maybe got a little caught up in the line, didn't quite give it enough, although I misread it again. It was definitely going to miss low. It broke more that time, but kind of after I marked my ball, I walked back. I had like 3 feet for par. So I was kind of like thinking about that. And then I looked over, and like JT, I could see him walking into the putt. And I just kind of got this feeling like, oh man, he's going to make this. Like
at what point when that ball was rolling, did you know that it was?
It just had like that perfect speed, that perfect roll on it. It was about halfway there, and I was kind of like, I think that's in. And then it just never did anything to make me think otherwise. And then I watched I guess they had like the worm cam from behind on the. I mean, it went right in the middle. I mean, it was not going anywhere else. It was truly a perfect putt. You know, that's tough golf hole. Dude just beat me with a birdie. Like,
yeah. Totally
tough, but
so heading into the Zurich, we do one and done picks every single week, and luckily for me, I said, you know what, this week I'm going to take Ben Griffin and Andrew Novak. I don't care if Novak is worn out from last week. I feel like these guys are motivated. They're going to go out there. They're going to win this week, and of course, you guys made me look smart. So I really appreciate you.
You're welcome.
As a man who likes to be right sometimes when it comes to who's going to win a golf tournament. So big congratulations to you guys. And with the Zurich Classic, so both of you two had not won yet on the PGA Tour. I'd watched both of you in final groups have opportunities, be, you know, very, very close.
Yeah.
I thought it was such a great dynamic, because you two both kind of just pulled each other to the finish line, whether it was you on Sunday being a little bit off and Ben kind of having his moments, and then earlier in the week watching you just like play some incredible golf, making so many birdies.
Vegas knows how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Is Steve Kerr coming back? They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star three trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on Sports Grid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
Sports Grid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of
15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Were you out of juice at all? I mean, it's been a long run for you with being in contention.
Of any week, last week was probably the easiest for it because you have a partner to like kind of pick you up, but it's also like 2 alternate shot days. You're only hitting like 30-something shots on those days, so it's not so bad as far as.
Now I think about it, that's kind of nice.
It's not so bad as far as that. I think I was just a little off on Sunday. I'm not Sunday, like Friday and Sunday, I'm not playing my own golf ball. I was playing Ben's ball. And so, a little off on the chips with that. The irons, like I wasn't quite swinging it great. Like I wasn't like
it's
bad.
Not easy. I mean,
I hit a couple like actually like poor golf shots, but for the most part, I thought like Sunday, a lot of my shots were just like C golf shots, like very average, never really hit anything close. Not like bad, not necessarily leaving Ben in like terrible spots, but just not quite as good.
You left him in a great spot on 17. With that ball, when it's in the air, where you were like, uh-oh.
So the one thing about 17, I had like a ton of people like text me like, oh my God, like I thought you were in the water for sure on set. Like I thought, and I'm like looking back and I'm like, man, that was a good golf shot. Like I landed 6 feet from the hole. Like it just landed. There's like one like brown downslope slot it landed on, just took off when it hit. But I mean, it was a golf shot.
Hell yeah.
And so then
especially after watching one go in the water right before you.
And so then like this was like 2 days after I actually got around to watching the highlights. The shot tracer on 17 like wigged out.
Oh, it didn't start that far right.
It goes and then stops and then like. I'm like, okay, I kind of understand why people were freaking out now because this thing is not. It like had my ball starting like almost close to the hole and then showed like a draw. I started it. I gave it plenty of space. Like it never like water wasn't ever in my mind until it took that huge bounce off the downslope and then I was like sit. But even still, like that green slopes like in the fringe slopes away from the water pretty heavily. I just wanted to sit down. I didn't think that club, I hit the club that I hit to land in the middle of the green and then work back there. I didn't expect it to fly all the way back to the hole, but that's probably just a little bit of adrenaline in the moment. But like, I kind of liked the shot. We were, I didn't really change what I was doing based on them hitting in the water because we still had the Hoy guards in front of us. They drive at like 400 yards. Like they might've had 9 iron in 18, for all I know.
Well, they actually got TIA relief. I don't know. That's a whole nother story.
I saw that after, but I was still trying to stay aggressive. That was something Ben had like talked about all week. Like let's go get it. And so Yeah, but I didn't realize why people were freaking out as much until I saw the shot tracer. That definitely did look like it was kind of scary.
Y'all were playing with Jake Knapp and Frankie Sappin, and they didn't really make it easy on y'all. On 17, they hook it in the water, and then on 18, Jake Knapp has this wedge shot. He lays sod on it, hits it in the bunker.
Yeah.
And so you're a sitting duck over there watching Ben Griffin hit a 50, 60 yard wedge shot, and you're just like, oh my God, don't lay the sod, don't bone it, just get it on the green.
It was probably 35, maybe probably a 35-yard pitch, but he is going up and over that bunker. But it was right. I mean, it was right where we wanted to leave it. Like that was the spot to be. Give him all the green. And I, right when Jake did that, I looked at my cat. I was kind of like, man, that's like the last thing you wanted. I kind of wanted Ben to see there, like because I knew when Jake was hitting the shot, I was like, okay, if he makes this, we're tied up. We can still get up and down and win. Because like I'm thinking about the leaderboard, and so I'm like, kind of like, no way this goes in, right? And then he did that. I was like, oh no, that might be worse. Like, no, Ben's got to see that. But it's just like, I mean, I still had full faith in Ben. I mean, he's got one of the best short games in the world. He was kind of laughing about it after. He definitely played it like. I think we were joking about like you can't chunk it if you don't touch the ground. Like I don't. He felt that one a little skinny, I think. But
he did. Okay,
it was fine. He did
that
exactly
shot that same hole location. Kiz chipped it in like in the dark with Scotty Brown.
That was going in the water. Yeah,
I had no idea that him and Scott Brown could not chip that week. We had Kisner on the podcast, and he's telling us the story that Duffner's playing with him earlier in that week, and Duff had watched these two guys. They're literally like putting it from 30 yards away, and then on one of the holes out there on that day, they get a golf ball that gets like behind one of those little small bunkers to like a short-sided pin. And Duff looks over at Kiz, say, "What are y'all gonna do now?" And then of course on 18 in the playoff or whatever it was, Kiz like bones one, hits the pin, and goes in. It's just like the most. Now it tells the whole story of okay, chipping it at that place is not necessarily easy. So the shot that Ben hit is underrated in that circumstance.
Yeah, we had our fair share of good chips though last week. We had 4 chip-ins as a team. We were getting after it a bit. Although I will say 3 of those were on Thursday when for whatever reason they let us go lift, clean, and place, and that was a silly decision. But
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Well, I actually was thinking about this the other day because I mentioned earlier that you and I had played together earlier in your career, and this was coming back out of COVID.
You don't think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on Sports Grid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line, only on Sports Grid.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star 3 trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire, only on Sports Grid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on Sports Grid.
my agent at the time, Jimmy Johnson, of course, you work with, he was like, hey man, you need to go play. Like, I'm working back through things. I'm going to pair you up with Andrew Novak. I'm like, great. So I come down to Sea Island, and we of course play. You carry me. I try to just survive in advance. I told Charlie when we were talking about this on Monday, it's like, I'm surprised I didn't ruin his career those 2 days. He saw some things he shouldn't have seen as a young tour pro. But what came to my mind was, I am 99% sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Ben caddied for you during that deal. I know that Ben caddied.
I think you're right.
He caddied out at Sea Island in an event I played in. And I was like, what other event would I have played at where we played the plantation course? Because I vividly remember talking to him walking down fairways, especially number 1.
But we played Seaside both days, though.
Dude, he caddied.
He might have.
I think Ben caddied for you.
He really might have, but we definitely played Seaside.
We definitely, maybe it was number 1 at Seaside. I'm thinking we're walking down. Anyways, what other event would Ben Griffin be caddying?
I actually think you might be right. I'll have to ask him on that. Now that you say that, I hadn't even thought of that, but
because I don't think he was back playing quite yet, because he had, I think he was like in that process around that time of like, I mean, working his way back.
We played golf every day of COVID, like every day.
Yeah.
Like we were out there just.
Would that have been around the same time where that he had gotten the funding to go back and play?
I don't remember the exact timeline, but it had to be, because I got my card that year. Like, well, no, I got my card the next year.
22.
Yeah. And he got out on Corn Ferry and then got his card the next year.
I think he caddied for us.
So I think you might be right.
Yeah. Anyways, I just thought like it hit me when you guys were on Sunday. I was thinking, I was like, I know these guys are friends. I know they play a lot together. But then it hit me. I was like, he caddied for Andrew in our event at Sea Island. and this is just another part of Ben Griffin's story, right? Like going from winning on the PGA Tour now to having to watch me play golf and caddy for you at the COVID event in Seattle.
We played all right, actually.
We hung in there.
In the team thing, I mean, you made some birdies.
Oh, I'll give you some birdies, Andrew.
Yeah, you gave me some birdies.
I'll give you some birdies.
I just was on my own about half the time.
Which is fine. It's
fine.
And good for you.
You're
like
a
for being
perfect teammate.
Yeah. I'll give you some birdies. I tell Charlie that's my MO now is I'll give you 5 to 7 birdies around, but I'll give you about 5 to 7 X's on a day or two. So hey, it's fun. I have fun with it. Another reason why the Zurich Classic you may have been more relaxed and you could take your mind off of things is that it's NFL draft week. I'm sure that constantly the entire week, all you're thinking about is what's going to happen on this Thursday first round. And then Friday, you're thinking about who's going in the 2-3. And the whole week was about the Shedeur Sanders show. But when I listen to your podcast, the screenplay podcast, as you can see visibly on the hat that you're wearing, if you're watching on YouTube, dude, you're like a legit analyst, man. Like when I was listening, I could not believe how much ball you knew about all of these different prospects. How much tape have you watched? Like, do you go and like legitimately find like YouTube videos of all these players?
Yeah, I watch a bit of tape. I just watch a lot of football in the fall. Like if it's Thursday, like there's football on, I'll watch it. Like,
are you taking notes? Are you just taking mental notes?
No, not really. This is something Maddie can comment. I just don't forget stuff really.
Yeah.
Like kind of why I didn't have to study in school. Like if a teacher said it once, I was probably going to remember it. Like if I watch somebody play, like I don't know. I remember it.
WizKid.
I love watching football. I'll watch most any teams play. I liked watching some of the smaller teams play this year. I thought a lot of like the more dynamic players in college football this past year were actually at like smaller schools. I think I touched on a few of them in the draft, but like Jalen Royals out of Utah State, Torrey Horton out of Colorado State. He was super fun to watch this year. Ricky White, he ended up going 7th round. I think he was out of UNLV. Like they were just fast, fun to watch players that I got to see a bit of this year when they were on TV.
how did you think your Panthers did? Because I was, I follow a lot of, I love watching like all of Todd McShay's clips. It pops up on my TikTok, and heading into the draft, he was not high on the wide receiver you guys got out of Arizona. His grade was at like 50. Do you think that was a good fit and pick for the Panthers? Because I was watching a video that you said the Panthers really can't screw up this pick.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of options they could have gone, and the board fell about how I thought it would. I mean, on our podcast in the mock draft, I went 7 for 7 in the first 7 picks. So, like, I knew exactly who was going to be available for the Panthers slot. The Panthers was kind of the slot I didn't really know. You know, that's my team, and I had no idea which way they were going to go with it. I thought there was good options everywhere, and they went one way. A lot of the ways that people rate the Panthers draft comes down to where people have T-Mac rated. I think he was probably one of the more like polarizing players. Like some people are like, oh, he's the number 1 wide receiver by far. He's, you know, a top 10 player. And some people didn't really like him as a prospect. I think the Panthers drafted very heavily to our needs. And Dan Morgan was not
needs.
We needed edge rusher. We needed really all defense. And then specifically like a weapon for Bryce Young. So we needed a wide receiver. That was probably about all we needed on offense. I saw we grabbed a running back as well. I'm guessing that speaks a lot more towards how Jonathan Brooks' knee is looking, which is super unfortunate because obviously we used a 2nd rounder there last year. But anyway, we grabbed the wide receiver and then we grabbed a bunch of defense. I'm a little surprised we didn't address like off-ball linebacker, but 2 good pass rushers. We grabbed the safety, which we definitely needed. I think for the most part, we drafted specifically to our needs, and then it's going to come down to whether these guys end up producing, whether they're actual good football players.
Well, how would you say this draft was? Meaning is like, it just didn't felt like it had just the high echelon, like first round dudes like we typically see. Like there were so many players that I was like, really, that's a first round guy, huh? Like in years past, I would have said they would have been slipping a lot more. Was this class like much deeper with like more talent on the back end?
I think a lot of it is like, it's like a 2-part problem. So one, like in general, a lot of like analysts had this as a little bit weaker draft class, but also I think that the way the broadcast went down kind of undermined the quality of some of the prospects. Like Cam Ward goes 1, unbelievable player, unbelievable college career. You have Travis Hunter, this absolute unicorn of a player, like doing stuff we've never seen before.
Did you like that trade? Did you like the trade Jags did? Did they give up too
the
much?
Jags will sell more jerseys. I don't think they're necessarily going to win a ton of football games, but they'll sell more jerseys, so that's cool. Abdul Carter, unbelievable talent at pass rusher. Like there are good players, but if you look at the entire coverage of the draft of the first round, half of it is talking about Shedeur Sanders, who went in the 5th round. Now, why have we spent the entire first round talking about a guy who's gone in the 5th round? Like that's just undermining like what we're seeing all of these other guys doing. Mm-hmm. Like these are good players that are going, but they're not talking about the good players that are going. They're talking about this guy who's just sitting in a house waiting to be picked.
Did it surprise you at all? Like when I'm sure you followed everything with the draft. Did you see a world in which that he dropped to the 5th?
I had it in our mock. I had him going 1st round, but I thought that's just because a team was going to take him. I didn't think he was that level of a player. I thought he was more like maybe a day 2 player. Like I thought like where the Saints took Tyler Shuck, I think that would have been like about where I would have thought Shedeur maybe would have gone. I thought that was maybe the level of his tape, but look, if his interviews were as bad as some people have said they were, and you don't want to deal with the drama and like everything that's going to bring, I'm not surprised that teams just flat out took him off their board. Like it's not like in my opinion, it's not like it's a can't miss player. Like I feel like it's very replaceable. Like you can get a backup quarterback that can basically do what he does, and that's be reasonably accurate and reasonably on time. Like there are backup quarterbacks that do that. They don't really have like elite traits, but they can just function in the offense.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
Sports Grid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Dr. Dre said at one time here, James Wood, always up to no good, man. I like a couple players in that lineup, and on a day-to-day basis can really get after it. Again, playing good baseball, 15-19 overall. We'll see how they pursue.
The Reds. Reds are a really fun team. Reds are, we're going to talk about them a ton, and I don't think they'll compete for a wild card. But again, they're a team like the Nats where they're going to give other teams trouble at times, and they can't overlook that matchup. Cubs win the division, as we all expected.
Pro Baseball Today, only on Sports Grid.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star three trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire, only on Sports Grid.
What'd you think about them taking 2 QBs, Tilly Gabriel and Shador Sanders?
My
now they have 5 quarterbacks. Like, what are we doing here, right?
My co-host on the podcast said it literally felt like the Cleveland Browns had 5 different people drafting, and it was like, okay, you get this pick, you get this pick, you get, and like by the end of the draft, it's all like, how has this been like what this turned into? Like, it's like there's no like logic behind any of it. The running backs I do kind of get because they are very different. Well, I don't even want to say very different. Like Sampson's like a pretty physical guy, but
yeah, they
are different style. Like I think Judkins a little bit bigger. Sampson's like a little bit more of a speed guy, which is fine. You know, they're not gonna have Chubb anymore. Jerome Ford, I think, is a good player, but maybe if he lost a few pounds, picked up some of that speed that he showed initially, maybe would be more helpful to have Judkins be more of the bruiser. But I think the Browns are definitely still a few years away from being good. I hope my caddy's not listening.
Wait, what was your favorite pick in this NFL draft?
My favorite pick?
Your favorite pick. So you're sitting here watching and you're like, man, that is the best value. That's the best fit for a team. It could be in any round. The one that you were just like, man, they absolutely
in the first round. I hate this because, you know, being a Panthers fan, in the first round, I really think the Falcons killed it. Their pass rush was so unbelievably bad last year.
Pierce, is that who they got?
Well, yeah, but even before that, Jalen Walker somehow made it all the way to 15, and that's like the exact kind of player I think they needed. Like, I don't think a lot of people were expecting him to make it to 15. And so the Falcons getting exactly what they needed there was ideal. And then, of course, they did loop back and trade up for Pierce, which I thought that was a little bit interesting because you just grabbed the pass rusher. Now you have 2, which is great. But I don't know how much like Pierce is going to offer you first and second down. And you just gave up your first round pick. And I'm not convinced that the Falcons aren't just going to go like 5-12 anyway this year. So you might have just like given up a top 10 pick next year. That seems a little bit questionable. But yeah, that Jalen Walker pick was really, really good. I'd have to look. There's probably a second or third rounder that made it somewhere that I think.
Yeah. Well, we can
think about it for a bit.
We can stay here on theme with the NFL draft, but I want you to help me create the perfect prospect as a golfer. So I want you to think about all the different tools when you could talk about driving the golf ball, ironing it, putting, chipping, even fashion or mental game. Create the perfect NFL draft prospect for a PGA Tour player. So starting with driving and work your way down.
Yeah. I mean, it has to be Rory, right? Like the way he drives the ball.
I think that's where I'm going.
Yeah, it's got to be Rory. It's stupid what he does off the tee.
So we're going Rory driving.
Rory driving. I don't see any reason not just take Scotty's iron game. That
Anybody else that's kind of close that you're considering other than Scotty? I'm with you.
Specifically iron game. Like if you want to go underrated, like let's throw Tom Hoge in there.
Mm-hmm.
His approach game is kind of nuts. Yeah. Colin
too. Like, all right, so scrambling.
Me.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. We're in a creative player mode, and we got Andrew Novak now in the creative player here in this virtual world. All right, what about putter?
Denny?
Yeah, Denny.
That's probably the way to go, right?
I think I'm Denny.
Yeah.
Okay. What about fashion? Now we're dressing our player.
Not Keith.
So you going Victor?
I don't know. Adidas makes some nice stuff. It looks a little better on Ludwig, but I'd say
he's got to go. You got to go corporate on us here.
Oh man, nobody gets too crazy with the fashion besides Keith, which makes it tough because you can't like single out like any one guy. I mean, man. I can't. We're not doing a visor. Like we can't do Keith. We're not doing that. I'm fine doing a bucket hat. We can do the Joel Damon bucket, but like we're not doing a visor. We got
Joel Damon bucket hat going over the fashion. All right, one mental game that you think a guy's overall mental game is probably the best.
I can't use Joel again for that. Strongest mental game.
It's kind of hard because you can't look inside somebody's brain, but you can always observe what your perception is.
If we're trying to make this just like feel like an unbeatable force, like we could almost throw Peter Malnati and just drive people crazy because just the amount of positivity is like I'm losing to this guy by 6 shots right now, like, and he's being entirely too nice about it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We got the creative player.
I think you're right. I think like a Xander or maybe like a Patrick Cantlay, like very like when I watch them play, they just seem very, very focused in on what they're doing.
Yes.
Very
like one shot at a time.
Structured.
Actually, it looks like it's one shot at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. Very structured. Like they know exactly what they want to do, what they're trying to do in the moment.
Yeah.
It feels very like not like robotic, like scientific. Like it's like we're doing this and then we're doing this and they've got it down.
And you're now exempt into the majors because you're inside the top 50 in the world. You're 33rd in the OWGR. You're 9th in the Ryder Cup points list. And heading into the year, we already talked about it. You're 82nd in the FedEx Cup. Weren't in the signature events. Weren't in the majors. You've played one major in your career. And you're sitting here now and you have all the opportunities in front of you. How excited are you now to be able to not only pick your schedule, but prepare for the biggest events in the world, knowing that you're a player that plays really well on hard golf courses?
Yeah, this is what I wanted to do. I had some kind of bigger goals this year. I felt it was about time. Like I kind of took the next step.
Are you a guy who like, do you set goals? Like, are you somebody heading into the year? Like, you write them down or you just
I think this year I've been a little more like bigger goals and trying to like tell myself they are achievable. Obviously like a win knocks one of those off, but like I have like bigger aspirations for this year. Like that was big, but that's not the end of it. Like that's a step towards what I'm trying to get to. I mean, you talked about the Ryder Cup, but Bethpage has been announced for a while. And when that was announced, I kind of had that circled. Like I wanted, a lot of what I've done is to kind of make a run this year to see what I can do, because
Vegas knows how to show love to our everyday heroes. So if you're a first responder, you are in for some perks. Lots of hotels and casino offer big discounts to any first responders who can show valid work or volunteer ID. So treat yourself to a discounted stay. You deserve it. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The Warriors' future was uncertain. Are they going to break it up? Steve Kerr coming back. They get Jimmy Butler, and they surge all the way through, and now they're through the first round.
The Warriors have guys, because of how special their star three trio is, they can make the guys around them better. They can elevate the way that they play. And we saw that. Steph Curry, 3 points in the first half, steps up in the second half, 19 points in the second half to carry them home.
Newswire. Only on Sports Grid.
Under him was Sharon Moore, who also participated in the cheating scandal with Connor Stallions. So you know what happens to him? He doesn't lose his job. He doesn't get a 10-year show cause. He gets to keep his job, and they go, we're just going to suspend you for 2 games next season.
Now, all of a sudden, they're coming out with everything that we knew to be pretty much true when it was happening. Yeah, they were cheating. It was like Belichick and the videotapes, right?
The Early Line. Only on Sports Grid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
Sports Grid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Like with the New York fans there, I truly think it's going to be like one of the most unbelievable atmospheres, one of the most unbelievable Ryder Cups that we'll see. So it's been a good start, but I know like I don't have much of a background of like a resume to like point back to. So I feel like personally I'm going to have to like really show that I belong. Like I can't just be a fringe guy. Like I can't just kind of sleepwalk through the rest of the year and expect to get picked. Like that's not going to work. Like Keegan wants to win, and if he's going to pick me, I've got to like prove to him that I should be on the team, because you can't just go off like, okay, this guy had one hot month in like April. Like that's not the Ryder Cup's in September. Like you can't just go off one hot month and assume that that's enough. I've got to, you know, like you said, I've only played one major. I have 3 majors coming up. I'm expecting I'm going to have to show like some good progress, some good golf in those, because the Ryder Cup's about as pressure packed as it gets. The majors are about as close as we can get to that, I would assume, like as far as like simulating that kind of level of pressure.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to have to show that I can handle that. I think it'll be good for me to handle that. Like in case I am on this team in Bethpage, like I'm going to have some high pressure moments to look back on, to be comfortable to perform.
Of course.
I think having a home crowd will be a huge advantage. I think that will help immensely, but no, I'm excited. Like this is the start I was hoping for. And it's just, you know, what can I use that to lead to? Like, can I keep it going? I mean, that's my goal. That's my plans. It's golf. Like,
of course,
never know exactly what's going to happen, but I feel good. I'm excited to play some of these courses we have lined up here in the future. It's going to be a little interesting. It's a lot of golf courses I actually haven't played.
Like Memorial is another one too,
so,
right?
It's going to be, you know, my caddies will be working overtime. I'm going to be working overtime. It literally like Heritage, like on Thursday, we're playing the first round and we're like sitting there scribbling notes in our book for like Saturday and Sunday, like literally learning on the fly. But I feel like we've been doing an unbelievable job, like communicating that. And
at least you're going to a PGA Championship that Quail Hollow is a place you're familiar with.
Never played there.
Really?
Never played there.
a Carolina Panthers guy.
Never played
Charlotte. I just, when I think of you, I think
hour.
of Charlotte. I just
We
think
were
of
an hour from Quail in college. Never went.
not familiar. I stand
Never-
corrected. Andrew
never
Novak
played there.
never been on property. Never
Not
had one
once.
of those famous. Is it the churros that they have in the locker
Didn't
room?
even know they did churros.
I think it might be. It's donuts. It's some form of fried bread situation with some glazing and.
Never been there. Wouldn't know.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to give a full review now because they're terrific. Gosh, here I am just putting words in your mouth.
No, I have not played Philly cricket. I have not played quail. I have played Oakmont once, but not in U.S. Open conditions at all.
Well, it always is like U.S. Open conditions.
Well, I played it the one time it was not because I got out there with my caddy and it was like a week after they had the USAM, so they were actually like protecting the golf course a little bit because it was recovering from that. So the rough wasn't quite up, the greens weren't quite as fast. Like I'm very excited to see how that is. I have not played Murfield Village either, so there's gonna be a lot of learning for me in this next upcoming stretch.
Are you a guy on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday who takes it light though, Andrew? Are you somebody that like so not a ton of practice, maybe more like
an
on
ideal
course?
week? Definitely practice. In an ideal week, I spend as little time on the actual golf course as almost anybody in the field. I very much love playing 9 on Tuesday and then my 9 in the Pro-Am on Wednesday, and I'm good. But I'm also, like I said, my memory, the way it works, like I can see it once and I've pretty much got it. So obviously playing it a few times, like I just add on to that, but I don't want to spend a ton of time out there on the course just playing. Like I'll get my work done on the range, on the putting green and see it and go from there.
Well, I look forward to watching, man. It's been a great start to your season. Obviously, 6th in the FedEx Cup race. I'm sure the Tour Championship, of course, is on your mind too. Making it to Eastlake for the first time, and you also made a lot of money too. Made $5.5 million this year, so that's not too bad either. So, next dinner on you, Andrew. Next time we see each other, but gonna be cheering you on, man. And of course, love your family, and look forward to see you next week. So, I appreciate you coming on, and of course, if you're watching or listening. Hey, if you're an NFL person, go subscribe and like the Screenplay Podcast. This guy gives the goods when it comes to the NFL and, of course, giving the goods on the golf course. So, Andrew, we appreciate you coming on, man, and best of luck to you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thanks, man.